Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Macrina. I share all things related to medicine, faith, and I also post a few vlogs here and there. If this is your first time stopping by, you're more than welcome. If you're an old subscriber, of course, you know we love you over here. So yeah, welcome back. So today I'll be sharing a video on some resources you can use as you're preparing for your USMLE Step 1. If you're an old IMG who graduated 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, or if you're a medical student outside of the US and you're interested in sitting for the US medical licensing exam, this is absolutely the right video for you. I graduated in 2019, so it was a few years way past, but I'm here to encourage you and to tell you that it doesn't matter how long it's been. In the end, you'll catch up. Now, you may have gone through Facebook and joined groups on prepping for the USMLE. You may have gone to YouTube channels just like mine to figure out what you need, the resources that you need, and honestly, there's so many out there. It can be an overload. So I'm just gonna break down a few of them here, and I'm gonna tell you which ones are high-yield topics and those that do not. So you can sort of gauge, and based off of your budget, you can also figure out what you think works for you. And the other thing I also wanted to say is some resources work better for other people and others don't. For example, the Anki deck flashcards. Some people really enjoy studying with the Anki. Other people just, that's not their study style. So you may have to sort of figure out what your style is and what you like. I'll share 10 resources that can be very helpful for you. And the 10th one is not really a resource, a must-have, so please stay along, watch the video until the end, and then you can learn what the resource is. I'm gonna group them into two categories. Those for people who are just beginning their prep, those who graduated a long time ago and need like foundational knowledge, and then those that are already into it, or maybe you could be in your dedicated period. So just based off of those two categories, which is number one, that's Boards and Beyond videos. So for those who are not familiar with Boards and Beyond, they're basically videos that cover all topics in the step one, going from things like biochemistry to pathology to microbiology. Every single topic is covered in there. It's great to create that foundation at the beginning. I would highly encourage you to at least learn the physiology of every single part, like cardiophysiology. Knowing the physiology will help you understand the pathology of every single subject. If you finished medical school many years ago and you need to go back to the basics, that's where Boards and Beyond comes. And that was the very first resource that I used, and it helped me understand like the nitty-gritty detailed information that I needed to lay that foundation before I could move on to other resources like UWorld, or be even able to figure out a diagnosis from a vignette. And it doesn't just cover step one, it covers step two, and I think step three as well. So if you can, I'll say you should invest in that. Supplement the knowledge you learn from Boards and Beyond, I highly recommend using medbullets. It's similar to uworld, but it has, I believe it has fewer questions. And the best part is it has about 1,000 free questions. So if you don't want to spend any money on a QBank just yet, or if you just want to dip your toes to see what it's like, you can try. They're more concise, not as heavy as the questions on uworld. Help you be able to like pick up from the knowledge you learn and apply that to the questions, because it's one thing to learn theory, but it's another to be able to attempt the questions. I don't really count medbullets as like a resource. It's just like supplementary to that. So I would still put that under one category. The second resource I highly recommend is the First Aid USMLE book. I'll say this is your best friend. This is not just your best friend for step one, but you're gonna need this book for step two as well and step three. It's so high yield. I used it as somewhere to annotate, to put my notes. I watched like Boards and Beyond videos and had my first aid book there right there with me, and you can sort of follow along. The other thing with the first aid is the last part of it. It has a rapid review. The things that I did, especially in my my dedicated period, is I went through the high yield facts in the back of my first aid book almost every single day. That will kind of help you cement those diagnoses, the treatments, everything. I had a physical copy of the first aid book, and also had a copy on my phone and another copy in my iPad and my laptop. Just that's how much I needed that book. Have it to fall back on. Each time you're not sure about something, you can always go back to your first aid USMLE book. As opposed to going back to Boards and Beyond videos, it can be quite difficult to remember where you learned something. So highly recommend that book. Aid USMLE book, I would say it's something you can use as a resource in the beginning, but also in the second part. That's the main part of the prep and the dedicated part of the prep. Third resource, uworld. Depending on how much time you have, if you have enough time to prep, if you have about a year or somewhere more than 6 months, I'd highly recommend to at least get the uworld subscription. If you still have time and you want to get comfortable first and go through the Boards and Beyond videos, I'd say first get used to that before then moving on to uworld, because uworld is a little pricey. I mean, I'll put the prices here, and when you're on that, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the time that you paid for and you're putting in the time to actually learn from it. It's so important. I think everyone you meet will tell you uworld is probably the #1 best resource they use to pass the exam. It's got about 3,000, I believe 3,000 to 4,000 questions in it. And honestly, it's not like an NBME that you'd use to gauge how well you do on the exam. I would say it's more of like a study resource. With that, you learn so much because they'll give you so many questions. For example, like VSD, you have so many different scenarios of the same question. So that will help reinforce over and over and over how to pick out what the right answer is in a question, and also help you understand the mind of the examiners. And I want to tell you right away, they don't make it easy for you to get the answers. And honestly, I'm also partly saying this because step two, I feel like they play with you, but you learn and you figure out the mind of your examiners and how to pass and how to get those answers correct. So it can be a lot. Honestly, it can be discouraging because there's so many questions, but I would say like hang in there, just take it day by day. And it's so important to have a plan of like how many questions you want to do per day, just so it doesn't overwhelm you, and then you fall behind and not even do any questions at all, and then just go back to just doing the theory part of it. So I will share more videos about like how I studied and how I used all these resources. So please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to hear more about that. And guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them for you, to the best of my knowledge, of course. I started, we didn't have uworld flashcards. Now that's an additional resource that's really helpful. So if you can get those flashcards on uworld. I also love that they have a notebook on there, so you can annotate and add whatever you want. I personally didn't do that, and I had my own physical notebook because I'm old school like that. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I know that love that feature on uworld. So definitely take advantage of that if you feel like that suits your learning style. The STEP exams are some of the toughest exams out there, and honestly, if you can power through so many blocks of uworld a day, you're basically preparing mentally and physically for exam day. My favorite things about uworld is you're able to analyze your test, to see your weak areas and see your strong areas and where you need to improve. So definitely top there in terms of resources. Resource number 4 is amboss. I personally didn't really use amboss for my step 1 prep. I went the uworld route, and I saw so many people who had questions about using amboss or uworld, at least on Reddit, and I think for a lot of them it was like recommended to use uworld. If you have the time to do both, highly recommend. It's always important to have another resource. Personally, right now I'm using amboss for step 2. I'm using both uworld and amboss just because amboss is great for other things like amboss is good for things like ethics. If you're not able to do both, that's absolutely fine. You'll do just fine with just uworld. Now, on to supplemental resources. You'll find that, for example, you have your first aid textbook and you've already gone through your buds and beyond. But if you really want to understand something like, for example, statistics even better, there are great teachers out there. There's supplementary resources out there. Perfect for people that are visual learners. They create like sketches of different things to help you remember certain things. I enjoyed learning using Sketchy, and I also met people that didn't like Sketchy, so it's really up to you. I recommend Pathoma for pathology, Anki flashcards, or the Anki decks. Some are already made, some people prefer to make them themselves. I personally made my own for step 1. Randy Neal makes YouTube videos, biostatistics videos. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Highly recommend. Dirty Medicine on YouTube. There's a great resource for biochemistry. They have very, very good mnemonics that help me on exam day. And one of the most high-yield ones I remember from Dirty Medicine was learning about the X-linked recessive diseases. I had a great song for that. So after going through my buds and beyond, studying UWorld, I just didn't feel like I was happy where I was at. Number 9 is Dr. Lopez, USMLE. He's a great USMLE tutor, and alongside him are Dr. Vanessa and Dr. Rumisa. They're such great teachers. So still a part of the group till now because of just like how much they've changed my life, honestly. So guys, if you're able to, please attend a rapid review by Dr. Lopez. It's usually about 2 weeks long, and he shares the highest yield content across almost every subject. One thing I love about Dr. Lopez is he uses storytelling to help you understand medicine, and he integrates concepts across all subjects, across all topics. I remember after attending his rapid review, my grades just went up. So I would, if you're able to, I'm not sure if he's doing I don't think he's doing a rapid review for the rest of this year, but next year, if you can, absolutely join and be a part of it. His job, he's so good at his job. He also shares mnemonics, he shares everything, and he covers almost every single topic in the USMLE Step 1. I will share his details in my description box if you're interested in working with him. And by the way, this video is not sponsored, it's not a paid video, it's just me passing on what I learned. The whole USMLE journey is not easy. It's if you've been through this, especially as an old IMG, you know it's a marathon, and it can be discouraging, it can be all sorts of things. It's expensive, and this is not to sway you away from going through this. Yeah, absolutely go for it if this is your dream. But I have to say the most important thing that helped me be able to go through it all has been God. So I can't really, I don't know if I can call him a resource, but I guess since the video is about resources, the most important resource is God. Do not lean on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. There is no other way to go through this than to lean on God, because there are days where you won't have the motivation, days where it will be so tough, days where you do an NBME and it's not what you expected the score to be. There'll be days where you don't feel like studying. For me, God did that for me. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your path. If you trust God, he will not let you down. He will establish your path. He will walk with you through it. When you come out on the other side, nothing else but to give God the glory. Honestly, without God, no, I would not be sitting here. Without God, I would not have passed my step 1 with my very first attempt. This is to give God all the glory. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Leave any questions you may have in the comments, and then I'll be happy to answer them for you. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.